Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm JohnBerry555, and today I'm talking about the 4th episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. The episode is called A Space Adventure Hour. So we have a holodeck episode, or as it's technically known, a recreation room, which is actually what they called it in the animated series, which is technically the holodeck's very first appearance in Star Wars by production order. Now, this episode basically addresses why didn't we see anything like this really until much later? Because it basically breaks the ship. That's essentially what it is, and this episode is full of all the holodeck problems that we've seen throughout Star Trek, such as safety protocols going down, not being able to call up the computer, having to finish the program in order for the program to actually end, telling the computer to create something, so it creates something that's not fitting in with the rest of, well, what's supposed to be going on. That being because La'an asked her to create a murder mystery, and has Spock, a hologram Spock, be the murderer. Thankfully, when she solves it, the hologram didn't go berserk. But, I mean, let's remember what happened when Georgie asked the hologram to create basically an opponent to defeat Data, not Sherlock Holmes, Data. And boom, Moriarty, a sentient hologram, was accidentally created. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But essentially, this episode is, like I said, full of those holodeck problems, and the episode ends with Lon basically saying that, and now report to Starfleet tells them, no, we do not recommend it at this time. Now, Scotty does come in and say that, I do want to add an addendum. With a separate server and a separate power source, it should be fine. And Pike is like, it had to be included in small print. And he says this technology should be locked away. But basically, in the episode, they do acknowledge that this is basically a building off of the battle simulator that they have on space stations, but a little more advanced. And I have to say, it is interesting. And I really do, I should say, it's interesting that they decided to do this because it does pose some maybe timeline questions, if you will. But I do very much like how, for that, they address that, yeah, we're just not ready to do this type of technology at this time. Maybe someday, but not now. Now, Scotty has the obvious solution, which is what we actually know that ends up happening, that it's a separate power source and a separate computer server. We do know that because of future holodeck episodes as well. And actually, in my head canon, is that basically, really good holodecks don't come about until the TNG era, is because when they actually have the ability to maybe not have a separate power source, but definitely have the separate computer, which is probably the easy part, but being able to dedicate power to the holodeck from a source that can be without it interfering with the ship operations. That's probably was the true hard part. The separate computer, easy. But that's all to say that it's a fun episode, and it also gave some of the actors a chance to play characters that are different from themselves. Lon, she plays herself, obviously, though her costume is, I would say, the Memory Alpha website does say inspired by Carmen San Diego, but I also got some Agent Carter vibes as well. And Spock played by Ethan Peck, plays more of a traditional Spock in this episode, believe it or not. Let's see, of course, Captain Pike, Anson Mount, I should say, plays a character who's a parody of Gene Roddenberry. Jess Bush, who plays Christine Chapel, plays a character who's basically a parody of Major Barrett on Roddenberry, who originally played Christine Chapel and also originally played number 1 Una. Una's actress Rebecca Romijn, I hope I got her name pronounced right, I'm honestly not the best names, plays a character who is a parody of Lucille Ball. Meanwhile, I'm going through all of them. Uhura's actor Celia Rose plays a character who, well, I don't know if anyone that we can actually map onto the original series people involved either in the show or behind the scenes. Probably somebody that I'm just not familiar with. Same thing with Mbenga's actor. Again, a character who I just don't know who's supposed to be, referencing. But Ortega's actor Melissa Nava plays a character who's named Lee Woods, who's a parody of McCoy's actor. To the DeForest Kelly. I don't know why these names. I got these names in front of me. I'm still tripping over them. And technically, Martin Quinn as Scotty, he plays himself interjecting into the hologram program in order to try to get a message into the program because the program is blocking out all other forms of communication. And then, of course, they also do bring in Paul Wesley to play Kirk, but not really Kirk. Is a fictional character fictional in-universe character named Maxwell Saint, who is basically a parody of James Kirk as portrayed by William Shatner. Basically, in this murder mystery, it's basically the cast and production behind the scenes crew for a show that's a parody of Star Trek's original series. I probably should have led with that a bit earlier on. A show that was called The Last Frontier, which, it's like, I don't know, something about space being the final frontier, something in Star Trek. Last and final, all synonyms of each other. So yeah, and they do an in-universe parody of this fictional show that's a parody of Star Trek's original series, including the ham acting, sets, all that, and sound design, including the film and being used for the title, which I'm pretty sure is the title sequence song. I'm pretty sure it's literally the actual Star Trek title song, just slightly changed up here and there. But all that to say that this is a fun episode. It gave lots of the actors a place and chance to play characters who are not themselves. So let them ham it up, if you will. Let them experiment, which is one thing that can be very fun about holodeck episodes. And actually, the reason why a lot of our main characters are used as the characters of the holodeck program is because the computer can't create original characters yet. Wait a second, the holodeck is just generative AI. Oh great, I have a new reason to complain about holodeck episodes besides the fact they rely on so many similar tropes, and I do want to talk about that at some point. Yeah, that is that, but I also really like to when they make reference to people creating holodeck programs, because yeah. But yeah, holodeck is just generative AI. But literally, they're just using people's transporter patterns in order to get the likenesses for characters because apparently the computer can't do that. But wait a second, our computers are making bad likenesses of humans, which sometimes can be scarily accurate. Yeah, we got a whole other can of worms there that I might talk about at some point. But besides all that, and the problems there with holodeck and knocking it away, good job, Pike. The episode actually ends with basically a scene of them doing outtakes for the fictional show, which includes Paul Wesley's character trying to sit on the captain's chair like Riker often does with chairs, with lifting his foot or his leg all over the top of it. And this episode was directed by Jonathan Frakes, by the way, who played Riker in the Next Generation. So I think that's just fun there. But like I said, this episode has some fun stuff. Allows the actors to play different characters, not even different versions of themselves. So it's really just fun. It's also a bit of a genre piece as well, something that have murder mystery in there, but with also all the common things of a holodeck episode. And it sounds like this is going to be the only one that they're actually going to do, which I think is a good idea given the timeline considerations for those of us who do care about that. So that's what I got to say, but I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.